do yourself a favour, check out the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club, and don't forget not just to rate it, but also to subscribe on YouTube or Facebook.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's me, PD, back with another Carlisle Cult Cinema Club Presents. And on this episode, it's an honour to have back the man, the myth, the legend, Allan Bryce.
Oh, yeah, that's soft sell. That's what I prefer. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, you look forward to my my intros. You know what I mean? So I was thinking one for this one, and I had to go with the man, the myth, the legend. You know what I mean? So no, it's good to have you back on the show for your fourth time. I think it is.
Yeah, I think so. It's a regular thing now, isn't it?
It is. I enjoy it.
I need to ask you before we start: is there actually a Carlisle Cinema Club where everyone goes and sits and watches films, or is it just? Oh, there is. Okay, so
no, that's how it started.
Right.
It started as I was screening films, and then 2018 started the podcast. 29, the back end of 2018, we've done I think 2 or 3. Then beginning of 2019. I fell ill with the transverse myelitis, paralysed from the neck down, blah, 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 which everyone's heard umpteen times. And then restarted in 2021 as the podcast, but we're still doing the screenings. And the latest one we've got is August 9th, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, wow. Okay. So where do these screenings happen? Are they online screenings or are they?
No. I've got it's called the Source Collective in Carlisle on Nelson Street in Denton, and we've got a 200-inch screen, which we built. Well, I didn't personally, but one of the lads who helps out built the frame. We've got a proper cinema screen,
right?
Which we attach to it, and we've got an absolutely fantastic projector.
Good, very good. Yeah,
and it's all it's digital that we screen because I can't afford to get a 35mm and hire all of that kind of thing. But yeah, sometimes we'll have 3 people in, sometimes we'll have 50 people in. It's not a massive place.
No, yeah.
But yeah, so we do actually do screenings, and since 2017, so we're 8 years in.
Excellent. So,
and I've screened over, God, probably close to 200 films.
Crikey. Very good indeed.
So,
obviously we do, we normally do our festivals at the, we do our festivals normally at Genesis Cinema in Whitechapel, where we have Darkfest. It's been a funny old year this year because we've been very, very busy. Normally we do maybe 2 books a year, possibly, but we've got 4 books this year, so it's been a busy old time getting those in and getting those out the door. On top of that, we agreed to do this thing called the Shed of Hell, which was in Northants, which is a gathering.
Yes, you told me we had a chat about that on the last one.
Yeah, we did. Well, actually, it turned out to be pretty good, I have to say, and it was quite fun. I think Mike, who organised it, realises probably it would have been better as a one-day event because Sunday was a bit quiet, and he tried to do a bit of both and have some sci-fi people down there. But we had some great fun. We all went out for food and drink all the time, and we sold a lot of books and things and magazines, so it was good. I met some very nice people. We met some people who came down, and they didn't even know about the video Nasties they were doing in which we'll talk about in a minute, but the Romford one. And they came down. I wish I could remember what their names were. Anyway, but they were a very nice couple, and they'd just come the day before on the Saturday. They'd been to this thing with Mel Gibson was there, Danny Glover was there. There's a film fair.
Oh yeah.
And they were saying, that Mel Gibson was charging like 180 quid or something like that, or more for an autograph and an extra for a photograph. And they said it was like a conveyor belt, it's just scribbling. He wasn't even looking up, he was just passing them along. And they, although fine, that's obviously made a lot of money that way. If he stopped to chat to everybody, he might have made a lot less.
Well, that's it.
It's a bit. I mean, that's one of the things I like about our festivals, is that we have loads of time to, the celebrities always have loads of time to chat to people. We don't. I'm not a huge great fan of the the whole Q&A thing. I'm not a massive fan of that because, if you got, sometimes get guests to come out and talk a little bit about the film beforehand. That's nice. That's fine. But I think with the Q&A thing, someone in interviewing them on stage, it takes up a lot of time. And if you've got a thing you want to ask a celebrity at one of our events, you just ask them. Well, because they tend to mingle a bit and go around the tables. So, which brings us to this whole thing about the books that we've done this year. So we started off with there's a guy called Chris Ketting. He's a very good writer, and he was looking for somebody to publish this book on John Carpenter last year, which we did. Went very well. So he's got a book on this year. We did his book on George Romero, and next year he's going to do the end of the trilogy, if you like, with a big book on Toby Hooper.
Nice.
So they're three good books. And the Diary of the Dead was the first book we did this year, which was the Romero book, and that sold really well, turned out really well. Also, we weren't going to get. Rick Melton was going to do one of his big. He wants to do his big magnum opus, I think, because he gets older. He's thinking, I want to get everything out there in print, And this book is like 420 pages or something ridiculous. It's really heavy. And it's really expensive to post out as well. It's about to get, just to post a second-class copy of this out is like about nearly £8, and you think it's ridiculous. And that's with a franking machine, which is cheaper than what most people.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a really good book, and what we look at is we don't do these things via Amazon. We do them one big print run.
Yeah.
And when they're gone, they're gone. And that's what we did with the Rick book. We only did, I think, about 500 of them, and a good half of them are gone now. And they'll probably, by the time we get to Darkfest this year, we'll probably only have a few left to sell. We sold quite a few of those in the Shed of Hell as well. But then the other one, what was a weird one, was somebody asked us if we were ever going to reprint any of our old books, and we actually managed to find high definition files of the first Nasties book we did, which is quite amazing because it was done way back in 1998. So I thought, you know what, we'll just reprint a small quantity of those. Well, I say small, about 1,000 of them, and they have gone exceptionally well. That has been they've sold through.
I've advertised it with links and everything on the Carlisle Cult Cinema Club page and shared that about as well.
It does. I mean, those have really gone exceptionally well, and obviously it's one that I can sign myself if people buy it from us. And rather fortuitously, I was at. We have friends who do really good things, and I think I've mentioned him before. One of them is Paul Cockgrove, who's now an MBE, which is nice. He runs the South End film scene. Really, he's the guru of the South End film scene.
Right.
And he's the we often meet up with him, for chats and stuff. He seems to know just about everybody, and he was the one who presented Spencer Hawken, his mate, who runs the Romford horror side of things.
Yeah.
He presented him with his Slaughter Award at last year's Darkfest, and they're both good mates, and they do the same thing. They're not in any kind of rivalry. But I went to Spencer's event last time, the last horror thing he did, and he's now taken over the Lumiere Cinema in Romford. And he wants to try and get interest going by having events there,
Yeah.
And it's strange because to me, living in Cheam, it's the other side of London, it's South London, it's out London. We're just on the very periphery of London. In fact, if we walk like 15 steps that way, we're in Epsom and Newell, so we're that close to being on the boundary. So to get to Romford. But to get to Romford for us it's actually easier for us to get to Whitechapel than it is to get to Romford. Although you can get to Romford now on the Queen Elizabeth line, and that's opened up that a little bit. It's not that It's exactly miles away, and the cinema there is very nice. It closed. I don't know if you know the story. It closed because of mismanagement in the first place, I think, from the
Right.
set. I'm not saying that necessarily, just allegedly, but I don't know what it was, the reason for it. But anyway, Spencer basically, I think he's bought it and he's, doing it up, trying to get it into a really nice looking, place of visit. A lot of screens. It's open all the time. You can go there any day of the week and watch normal films. But also, since he's kind of one of us on the cult cinema front, he wants to also use it to screen stuff that's not generally seen by people, and so he'll have some very intriguing. He's very good. He's a kind of a bit of an icon of the independent horror cinema scene in the UK, because he has his horror fest, horrific as he calls it.
Yeah.
And when that is on, you get loads of people coming to show films in which they're in. They're actually in the movie. So these are guys who come. If you make a low budget horror film in the UK, then you can probably come and screen it at Romford, and get all your mates along and all that sort of stuff. It's a brilliant event. But it's a little bit different from ours. And I'm saying to Spencer that, because what happens is with the Romford Horrific Fest, you get a lot of people there who are youngsters who've just made these films, or, the actors who are in it, the cameraman, the various people. And when they come and see their own films, they come and see other people's films. And there's a small clique, and a lot of these filmmakers all know each other anyway. But it's different from Darkfest, because the Darkfest people, when they come along, they're horror fans and they know the old classic horrors from old.
Yeah.
And they just love meeting the actresses and the people involved with them and watching the films because let's face it, most of the films that we screen, people have seen them all before many times, but maybe not on a gigantic screen. So what we're trying to do, I said to Spencer, he very kindly said that you can use our venue for any event you like. And so since we were going to republish the Video Nasties book, I said, why don't we do like a day of Video Nasties? Yeah, that's the one. Nice glossy edition now as well.
Signed by the man himself as well.
Oh, yeah. Scribbled in.
Where have I gone? Wait a minute.
You've disappeared. Yeah,
no, it's not letting us show it. It just disappears.
Because of your background.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I said to Spencer, right, well, what we'll do is we'll pick about 10 nasties that we're trying to vary the product. And we've had a lot of help with our friends at Severin.
David Gregory, great guy.
Carlisle, yeah, David and Cole. They're good pals, and they support Darkside a lot, because every issue they have a back page ad.
Yeah.
Their product. So we're all happy and they're happy to support us. So what's happening on this occasion? We've got there's Sarah Afton, who's the daughter of Dennis Mickle, and she's a very, very talented filmmaker, and she's made a really good documentary about nightmares and a damaged brain. So I'm going to try. It's about the guy who made it. Very controversial character, got sent to prison, and his story is a fascinating one, and the documentary is really good. So I think I'm going to try and find a way of screening that as well before we actually show Nightmares and a Damaged Brain. But Severin have also given us a ton of stuff that, so we'll have the uncut versions of everything, obviously. Yeah. I mean, we got Beast in Heat, for example. That was one of the rarest. It's not necessarily the greatest film you'd ever see, but I remember when that came out and the Nasties list came out, that one was the hardest one to find, when you went around.
It still is, and unless it's got the proper kind of history,
yeah,
you're buying a bootleg. I mean, I've got the full 72 Nasties, which we've chatted about before, but the only two I haven't got originals of are Devil Hunter.
Oh, okay.
Because you're talking big money, and Beast in Heat, because you're talking thousands, and I don't want to,
Well, it's not really worth it. Not now. You can get. I've never really fully understand this thing about, because there was something I was reading about how some of these old Video Nasties are worth a lot of money. And my pal Mark Morris, who he was the one who supplied all the covers for the original book, and I was saying to him, also, when I used to go around, he used to live in this place, and it was like it was it was just stacked with every other obscure. I don't know. I mean, I never met anyone who's had as many obscure tapes as him. He may still have them. I don't know, but I know now that he moved to a much nicer place. And when you go around his house, I don't see tapes everywhere. You know, but and also what's changed about him is he watches new films now. Because at one point, I don't think he ever watched anything that was made beyond 1973 or something. I don't know, probably watched a video Nasties made in the 80s, late 70s, but he was not a fan of the new films. Now he does at least watch the new films from time to time. But he's still interested in that era. But now I still don't understand why. I'd much rather have a nice, 4K UHD Blu-ray of one of these old films than a grotty looking, scrappy looking VHS.
I've got them all on Blu-ray as well, and I prefer to watch them pristine. But there's something about the history. I can remember it all from the time we had most of them, and my dad used to tell me, "Don't tell anybody we've got these, or I'll end up in prison." You know, things like that. So the video Nasties kind of meant something to us. So I always thought maybe one day I'll own them all on VHS. So it was an expensive.
That was our collector's thing, wasn't it? I mean, we had to have them. And I think I went through that thing. Now, I had this funny story. I have told it before, but I don't know if I've told it to you. Back in the day, when I worked on Video World magazine, there was the editor there, a guy called Steve Shields, who actually came to Darkfest last year. I haven't seen him in years. Nice. He was chatting with this bloke. We just used to know him as Gary from Ashford. He was a video dealer. And Gary from Ashford one day he said, "I've just had Gary on the phone. He's shitting himself." And I said, "Why?"
You've told this story on the last podcast. Yeah.
I think I did it on before. So anyway, that's how I got hold of all the video Nasties, because he offloaded them to me. So I had the lot of them. But you know what? I don't think even then he had Beast in Heat. So going back to this whole event that we're doing. So the Nasties event it's on 30th of August, and it's at the Lumiere. And I've tried to make it very reasonable because I want to get a lot of people along there. Darkfest usually charge 40 quid, and that's what we'll be charging this year again. We've tried to keep the costs reasonable. I mean, it's different with Darkfest because we pay a huge amount of money to rent the cinema at the Genesis. We've got a much better deal with Spencer. So essentially, I mean, and the other thing is, I wish we had a cut of the bar at the Genesis, because they must make so much. God, I don't know so much money. So if all the people, and also I want Spencer to do really well on the bar at the Nasties event. So hopefully, lots of people will come and spend loads of money there.
Well, I've seen a few people on my page commenting that they're going.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people. We're doing pretty well. I don't want to put numbers on it, but but we have 400 people at Darkfest, and I've kind of come to this situation where I've said to Yanni, and Yanni says to me, if we sell 400 tickets, just stop selling them at that point, because I don't want too many people there. 400 is packed, but if I started selling, the cinema holds 500 odd people, but I'd never sell 500 tickets there. I'm not greedy that I need. We make a very profit at 400, so I'd rather keep it at that. With this event, it's still an unknown quantity because it's Romford, and some people think it's too far, and some people have said that I'd go, but I'd never get home or something like that. But I expect at least a couple of hundred people here, so it may not be as busy, but it will appear to be quite busy because I know what we've sold already. So it's going to be a success, and I'm looking forward to it. We're doing it 11 o'clock in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. I've got a load of people who are getting tables there who Severin's got some stuff to sell. That's a good thing, actually, because a lot of the Severin films are really worth buying. If you see them advertised on the back of our magazine, and there's some I'll definitely buy myself, because if you buy them off their website in America and it gets mailed over to you, then you're going to pay a lot more than you'll be paying at the event to get the same thing. If you really want to get one of their Italian horror box sets or whatever they're selling, or their shark movies, they're doing a big shark movie thing at the moment. A lot of really good rare stuff that you would never pick up normally. So I'm looking forward.
Definitely.
They'll be there, but also they'll be on my old pals from from other events. Midnight Media's Paul Brown. He's a great guy. He is always at our Darkfest, and he was at Shed of Hell as well, because apparently he lived just down the road from there, so it was perfect.
Right.
And he's got a really good selection of stuff that he has a whole load of films there that I've never heard of before. And a lot of cases, so mainly they're like DVD-Rs, and he'll say to me, and he's very honest with his punters. They'll say, "Oh, what's this? Is this any good? Something creeping in the dark, or something, all these kind of obscurities." And he'll go, "Yeah, that's a good print," or, "Well, that's a bit shitty, but it's still watchable." Or, do you know what I mean? In other words, he's not.
Yeah.
There are all these really rare ones that he just gets from all over the place. So he's got a good selection of things like that. And some of the other, you recognise the other dealer people from Darkfest go. Roger Pike is an old pal. And I think Cinema Store Neil's going this time around, because I think he's got another event somewhere else. But I've had a lot of inquiries from people who are doing unusual things that are involved with Nasties, whether it's T-shirts or whether it's Rick's going. Rick Melson's going. He's going to be taking his stuff along. So I think it's going to be a really good fun day. It's going to be a social day. But what I'm trying to do here is to, because we can show about 10 films or maybe more. Because what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and have them playing side by side in each cinema. So we've got 2 screens.
Yeah.
So you kind of pick your nasties, if you like, or you can, if you think, "Oh, I've had enough of this one," or you've never seen it before, and you might. I'm hoping I won't play the rare ones opposite each other, but we'll be doing Cannibal Holocaust, I suspect, and my actual plans aren't fully finalised yet, because I'm just about to do the advert for this issue, which I'll tell what people are going. Ian McCulloch's joining us, because we always have great time with Ian. And we've also, I've got all my Hammer girls will be going as well. Caroline Munro and Pauline Peart and Martine, hopefully, and a few other surprise people. We're still waiting to try and. I mean, the most important thing is people have got to realise it is just we didn't have a lot of time to put this together, so we had to. We did.
And you've got a section 3 hero or villain, who knows, because his mother, this cloth smells of death.
Yeah, well, that's it. We're still negotiating with him. So I don't want to say, yeah, that's definite, because it's not at the moment. So I don't want to fully. But if he comes, it'll be a big coup for us. It just depends whether he's available, whether we can actually. We hear it is possible. So we're just going to wait and see. I mean, that's why I don't want to make such a massive thing of it, because if he does come, it would be brilliant. That would be great to have him there, wouldn't it, really? And then if that's the case, we show Burial Ground. So, so I'm hoping we'll do that. But some of the other ones, more unusual ones. I mean, because there's a really good print we've got of the Mardi Gras Massacre. It's not one of the best, but you know what? It'd be nice to see that on the big screen. So we won't put the rare ones opposite each other, but you might be. Oh my God! Sorry, Yanni's in the hot tub. So you have to edit round this bit while I answer the door. I shall return.
No problem.
Sorry, that was someone collecting for children's charity. Hopefully you can edit that out. I said, shall I come back?
Yeah, that'll be it.
Oh, thank you. Okay, charity begins at home. Sorry, going back to what we were talking about. So I'm going to be showing the obvious ones. If Ian's there, I've got shows up. See, the thing is, Ian is such good value, and he said he's done better at our event than any other event that he's ever attended. And he's in America doing events this week, with Linnea Quigley and people like that. But he is hilarious. He's really good company, and he loves the thing. So I was originally just going to get him along for Darkfest this year, because our Darkfest guests, which are shaping up quite nicely. We've got, I think I told you last time, we've got Lynn Lowry. She's supported for Shivers. I've got Sherry Buchanan, who's never done an event like this before, and she's if you want to see her her sort of genre movie. She's in What Have They Done to Your Daughters? She gets murdered in that. And she's also in Zombie Holocaust with Ian McCulloch. So she's, it's not the best zombie film, but I'm going to show that at Darkfest just because I think it's going to be a cracking one to show. Also, we're being joined by Victoria Price this year because she's around. Vincent Price's daughter gives us a chance to show a classic Vincent Price film. And I can't remember whether we've ever done Theatre of Blood, but if we haven't, then we should do, because Maddie will be there as well, obviously. But we'll see. I'm not sure. Someone was saying do the oblong box because we could probably get Sally Geeson and maybe even Patrick Moore, because he did say he would come at one point. Oh, that's Cry the Banshee. Sorry, I'm going bonkers, not the oblong box. But yeah, if we did that, but it'd be nice to get. I mean, look, there's so much to choose from Vincent Price films, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. But I've got to make a decision fairly quickly.
Excellent.
But yeah, so with the and also Francesca Ciardi. Now she might be joining us for both events, but she's definitely joining us for Darkfest this year, because she told me off last year because I had to cancel her out last minute. I had too many guests. That's the problem. I do tend to go a bit mad and get too many people.
And she's lovely as well, because I met her at Weird Worcester.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. You see, look, Graham Lloyd is another pal. Graham and Film Treasures.
Good lad.
Treasured films, whatever they're called. So, and he really stuck his neck out when he did Weird Worcester. No way. I'm saying right now, I would never do an event like Weird Worcester, because there was so many good people there. Fred Williamson, Goretta, whatever. So that coupled with the cost of renting the cinema we could never make a profit. If we sold 500 tickets at 40 quid, we wouldn't make a profit, because you've got to get all those people over. So I always have to make this thing, because we are a business, and I always like to think of with Darkfest, it was always a case of a lot of people said to me, well, you're quite a sociable magazine, and you're very on very friendly terms with the readers. Wouldn't it be great if we could find somewhere really good where we could just all meet up every year, have a chin wag, have a drink, and just enjoy. And that's turned out to be the case with Darkfest, And in fact, we're getting that way with Infinity now. So next year, we've been talking to the Genesis about doing an event in May, which would be quite fun. So that would be good to go to. But anyway, it'd be nice to see you at Darkfest.
Darkfest is 100%. We're just discussing it today. My mate's driving down so we can put my electric wheelchair in it.
Excellent.
So that makes things brilliant. We're going to stay at the Mile End Travel Lodge, I think it is.
Yeah, that's another thing. I booked. I booked I booked straight away for the following year, because not that you get a cheaper rate or anything. It's just that I figured I've got to book my guests in there.
Yeah.
So I booked in. I've booked Sherry in there, and I've booked what's the name?
Lynn.
And yeah, that's right. So essentially, it's going to be. It's going to be a really, really good time. Lynn Lowry's booked in here as well. But sometimes last minute people come up that I've forgotten about. And like when we were at Shed of Hell, we had a great time, and I was sitting next to Lindsay Drew, and Lindsay goes, "Well, don't forget, I'm coming to Darkfest this year." And I said, "Well, yeah, of course, because like when they've been, they want to come again."
Yeah.
I mean, last year we were out with some friends and at one of these worldwide weird things that my pal Merlin does, and his wife Senna, and it's in like this pub in fairly central London, and they had a screening of Vampires, and they had Marianne Morris there, and Marianne was saying to Yanni, Yanni's telling me don't invite too many people, and then she goes, "Oh, I've invited Marianne to come," and also when I was at Shed of Hell, Barbie Wild was saying, "Oh, it'd be nice to come again next year," and I'm going, because I can't say no. I'm thinking all these people. And there'll be other people there who are my pal Stuart of Misty Moon, and Stuart and Jen.
Yeah.
They will be they're bringing something on the show. So they're bringing Graham Cole along with them, who from the bill is a very
who I've interviewed as well. So,
he's a lovely bloke, isn't he, Graham?
Yeah,
he's a genuinely nice man, and he never gets any older, does he? He's always the same. He just looks like Tony Stamp still. And I think he's bringing Nicola Manning. Who's the girl they've got in there? Oh no, who is it? It's not Nicola. Is it? Who's the? There's some Doctor Who girls in one of their films coming
Nicola
up.
Bryant.
Nicola Bryant. Sorry, I should have got that right. She'll be. I'm sure she's coming along, from what I understand. So there'll be a lot of people there that will just be milling around. And it's like, when you come to Darkfest, there are people who are good pals of ours, like Graham Humphreys, for example. I mean, Graham's certainly deserving of a table to sign and things, but he tends to like just come along, walk around, and just meet people and stuff like that. Whereas other events, maybe you'd probably find Graham would be a star guest. I'm not saying it diminishes what he does. Or
no, it doesn't at all. No,
and he's welcome to have a table and sell his artwork.
Graham's another I've had on the show as well.
Yeah. What about Jonathan Ross? That's a good one for you, isn't it?
Not a bad little get there, was it? And he said I could have half an hour of his time. I got an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Lovely bloke. Yeah, really good episode.
Well, he's one of our own, isn't he? He likes his horror. And
he is. That's it. He likes his bits and bobs. I've just got Mick Garris.
Oh yeah, another one. Yeah.
Another good get.
I'll tell you who you could get. I'm sure you could get. He's if you've not had him before, is Sam Irving. You should get Sam.
I've just had Sam.
Oh, you had Sam. Okay, good. Well,
2 hours worth of Sam Irving telling stories.
You can't. Sam's got so many stories that it'll just you might as well just
I just let him go really, and interjected now and again.
Now, did he talk about it? When did you just chat to him?
A couple of weeks ago.
Right. Did you talk about his upcoming book?
Yes.
The De Palma.
Yes, briefly talked about that. Talked about all his books, to be honest. But yeah, he mentioned that, and there's another book he's doing as well.
He's got so many. I said to him, the trouble is, he needs to get a stronger mantelpiece because he's got so many of those rondos weighing it down. It's going to collapse one day.
Well, I was lucky enough to win a rondo myself this year. As part of the We Belong Dead team that done the Japanese cinema, I was part of that done the Godzilla. So I think
that was great.
Daryl's looking at getting us all a rondo, which would be amazing.
I wondered that. Who gets the rondo? Is it just Daryl and Eric, or
just Daryl and Eric? Well, there was just one given.
Only one given, isn't there? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I think he's looking at getting it copied, maybe 3D printed.
Mm.
And I'll put money into it to have one on my shelf.
Mm. Well, it's nice. And David Colton's another guy who's he does. I full respect to the bloke. I mean, we do our slaughters, and when we sat around, I sat around with Eric and a few other people, and they were talking about the possibility of doing an award, and we came up with the slaughters. Todd Slaughter being very British.
Yeah.
But then bottom line is that we pay for them. Yanni and I pay for them basically to be made up. Everyone else is fine. They're all supportive of it, but we're the ones who actually put our hand in our pocket. And they don't cost a fortune, but they do. They're in the hundreds of pounds what we spend on the
if you ever want to give one to a cult movie podcast out, you know what I mean. I'm not saying whose, but
never look at that. No payola involved. but I think as I say, going back to what I was saying about David Colton, it's an enormous amount of work that he does to get these statuettes made up, hold the various events. All I do is go, I just get Eric's Power does the statues, creates the statues, and then which we pay him for that, and then I just take him around. There's a place in Banstead called Mr. Snob, where every year, and he goes to me when she's looking through the finances, because she'll go, why do we pay this? Why do we pay that? And I go, well, that's because of this, that's because of that. And then she goes, every year she goes, what's this Mr. Snob? And I say those are the people in Banstead High Street who make up the plaques, and they put them on a marble stand you know, to make them look bigger, and they print out the plaques and all that. So we have to pay them for that. But it's even that's a bit of a faff. I have to get the statues and to take them down there and that. So with David Calder and the Rondos, I mean, it's an astronomical, and I don't suppose he gets the amount of money out of it converts the amount of time that he puts into it, and that's really what is involved, you know. And you know, as I say, in our case, I mean, we're busy enough already when it comes to doing events, doing magazines every month, and doing books, you know. So it's a little extra thing that we have to figure out. But it's nice, and it's really nice when you give away to nice people like Spencer. We were really glad to give him, because he had a bad year last year with the cinema closing down. Right? That's why I really want to say to anybody who's in the Romford area, and you know what, I say this, right, because I've just when the ticket orders started coming in for the Nasties Fest on the 30th, I was amazed how many people are coming down from Scotland, from Birmingham, Manchester, all over, coming down to this festival, because it's only
video nasties are a hot commodity at the moment. Everybody wants the video nasties.
Well, I think in this instance, you know, it will be showing really good quality copies of them. And again, I know I'm still wavering on a few, but I'm going to have to show Last House on the Left, obviously, because that's one of the classic ones. And Spencer reckons that we should have a late night screening of Faces of Death for those who can last that long. So we'll see. That's one you definitely won't see on a big screen anywhere soon.
No, I must admit, I'm showing this year, because I've shown a few of the Nasties myself, but this year I'm showing Anthro and Absurd. That's in October for my birthday.
Absurd's a good one, isn't it? Because Absurd is in many ways more gruesome than Anthro, but it's the only thing I don't like about some of these films is that, and when we were talking about getting these video nasties put onto Blu-ray and everything, what sometimes, you know, it's just a step too far, because the originals were not photographed very well. So I mean, okay, and you know, people talk about 4K UHD,
pointless.
4K UHD versions of things like Anthropophagus. Well, that film's not very well photographed at all.
No.
And also, you get these films like even some of our favourites, like Texas Chainsaw and Evil Dead. They're filmed on 16mm and they were blown up.
Yeah.
So, you know, you will not get that super duper extra sharp look that even with something like Night of the Living Dead, which was shot on 35mm, where that's going to look sensational if you go back to original prints of that. So there's stuff. And I know that people like Severin, you know, they've got people going all over the world trying to find these really, you know, these amazing quality and spending a lot of money in some cases to get these things out there. And I hope they manage to do that with some of the. I know some of the stuff they've got coming up is amazing. That I've never thought I'd see it coming out on anywhere. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some very rare. I can't say too much about these now, but I do know one that I'm really delighted with. Is I don't know if you can see it, but you know, you can see Island of the Damned there.
Yes.
Okay. There's Island of the Damned, one of my favourites, and I saw that.
That's the Pete Cushing one, isn't it?
No. Incense for the Damned is Cushing.
Oh.
Island of the Damned is a vampire tree film with Cameron Mitchell in it. And I saw it at the cinema, in this place called the Kingston Cinema, where I used to go and see movies, and it was called Bloodsuckers then. And it's just about, I was very attracted to see it because it had in the local paper, the Surrey Comet, it was reported that the cinema had been asked to take down the front of house stills because they were too gruesome. So I thought that's got to be one for me to watch. I went to see it, and I think it was on with something like Vampire and the Ballerina or something. I know it was a good double bill, and well, certainly some of those Spanish vampire films. And I remember going to see this film, thinking it's corny, but it's really good fun. So basically, it's a bunch of people go to an island, and Cameron Mitchell's got this vampire tree, which can't uproot itself and chase after people, but people are just stupid enough to go too close to it a lot of the time. And it's got some of the most hilarious dialogue. There's a sexy lady in it, played by, I think, is it Kai Fick? Clive Fisher, isn't that? I can't remember now. But anyway, yeah, someone like that. And she goes, she plays a character called Mrs. Robinson, obviously model on Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate, you know. And there's a hilarious scene where she's trying to seduce Cameron Mitchell in his greenhouse, and she sort of goes to him and he pushes her back violently. And he goes, Mrs. Robinson, you're squashing my begonias, or something like that. And I just remember thinking, even when I first saw that, I thought, is that meant to be sort of like a euphemism?
I'm not sure I've seen that one, so I'll have to find it and check it out.
The reason why you won't have seen it probably is you could watch it if you go on YouTube. There's a really rotten print of it. And there's a German edition. I've never seen it, but apparently it's not that great because it's not framed correctly, I don't think. But now I hear somebody, because I know that Severin were interested in putting it out. I don't think they're going to do that anymore. I think they've lost out to another company. But there is a Blu-ray of it coming along, Man-Eater of Hydra, which is its original title.
Right.
That's probably one of my holy grails of films that I would like to see a decent copy of. That and Day of the Triffids, the 1963 one, which is another one that's got its own provenance with there not being a decent copy of it around anywhere in the world. Really.
Yeah.
So, you know, just sometimes when you see these things, you think, oh, wonderful to get that. I mean, like Hammer, you know, talk about Hammer a bit. You know, we were talking about recently, I was saying about Hammer redoing all their films in these great looking box sets with loads.
I've got the Captain Kronos one.
Yeah, that's right, Kronos. They've done, but they are kind of dictated to by what they own the rights to. So they've done Quatermass, and they did Quatermass 2, which they sent me a copy of the other day. And you know, no denying that it's great, but you know, you've got this massive open box, and it's got UHD, Blu-ray, DVD, American print, you know, and you think, well, yeah, but okay, so you've got the same film 5 times over in different whatever. And then obviously you'd want to go for the UHD if you've got that kind of facility to watch it in that. But then when you look at it, sometimes it's a little bit, you know, Hammer used to do this thing for obviously for financial reasons. They used to do a lot of day for night, you know, that's why you see a lot of those vampire films. And sometimes when in the past, actually, I've seen when people have been putting out these films and the company and they've been overzealous, and the day for night scenes have been brightened up and they look just like day instead of night. I've seen that in some of the versions that have come out for Hammer films. Hammer obviously taking trouble restoring these things, but you still do get problems where it's like the opening scene of Quatermass 2, I was saying the other day, is way too dark. I've probably got a DVD of that looks better in that. You can't, you know, it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be set during the day. So I think they're a bit confused as to whether it, because if you've seen Quatermass 2, there's a car.
I have many years ago.
Well, Brian's on Navy's Quatermass. This couple's veering over the road because the guy's been attacked by one of these, you know, infected by one of these creatures. And she goes, we're on our way to a picnic. And you're thinking, well, it looks like midnight. What sort of picnic are they going to? You know, and I don't think they thought that one through. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they're doing it. But there is a point when it's like with double dip. I don't know how you feel about this, but double dipping on film.
I've got some versions of films 3 or 4 times. I'm not doing it anymore.
No, because if the extras are great, then that's fine. But sometimes you just think to yourself, well, you know, if it's reasonably priced. And the other thing is, Paul, that they're releasing things like there's a film that they've sent me. I haven't reviewed it yet, but I did see it years ago. But I'll have another look at it, called Blood Orange, I think it is, and it's like a thriller set it's a Terence Fisher film made in '53, and it's set in a fashion house with murders, from what I understand. But I mean, it won't be like Blood and Black Lace. It's just a minor Hammer programmer, but it's one they own the rights to, so they can obviously get all this stuff together.
Yeah,
I think they're really counting on there being this massive, great Hammer fan base who wants to own these films. But obviously, what we'd like to see, and what a lot of Hammer films would like to see, would be some of the classic horrors coming out. They've got the man who
the Draculas, the Frankensteins, the mummies.
And because they don't own the rights to those, they have to lease them from whoever does own the rights to them. So if they're going to lease them from someone like Studio Canal or Warner Brothers, those companies are going to ask for a big chunk of the money they make. You know, if they're going to be doing all the work to restore them. To what end? You know, that's why you know, even with, so you've got Quatermass, really good box set. You've got Quatermass 2, really good box set. But you probably won't be getting Quatermass and the Pit because that's Studio Canal.
Yeah.
So depends if they were. And also, you know, another thing is that as big Hammer fans will know, wouldn't it be ideal to do just a big, expensive box set of all 3 Quatermass films? That would be the ideal. You know, they've licensed the old Quatermass 2 from the BBC for the box set, which is nice, you know, which is a nice extra. But there is just too much. You know, I mean, and David Gregory, you know, who does Severin, he was saying to me the other day that you know, one of the things that people come to our Nasties Fest will be able to buy is this Cliff Twemlow box set. Do you know about that one? You probably.
I've got it. I bought the big. I've got the novelizations, the T-shirt.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's a great box set, and but they were going to release it in the UK, but because they got the rights all around the world.
Yeah.
But it's got so much on it in the way of like running time that if they put it into the BBFC, it would cost them an absolute fortune. There is no, you know, because they charge, you know, they charge by the minute, don't they, for certification. So if they don't really want to go in there and spend, you know, I mean, they would have a hard time getting the money back from the UK market, I think, if they do. Yeah. This is the thing.
You're right.
With all these events, I don't think, for example, in the case of say the Hammer stuff, if they're going to, you know, I don't think if they give you 5-6 versions of the same film, it won't cost. They can't cost for certain. You know, there'll just be one certification for each one, so they're not paying for all that stuff. But then they're paying by the minute for these long documentaries and things like that. And Severin are one of the gold standard of
completely. Their stuff, they always knock it out the park. It's always the best cuts. They always look great.
Yeah, they do, and you know they're and the great thing is that they do really well financially. They do really well. You know, I know they do, and they've had some massive hits, particularly with their folklore box sets and things like that. Which, you know, all the Hornsby Hours or whatever they're called. They deserve to do so because they really go that extra mile and also to find obscure stuff. And I know, as I say, that they're looking for, you know, I've been trying to help them out with a particularly obscure director, but you know, we'll see what happens with that. But there's some good stuff coming up, and again, I'm looking forward to. I'm not, but no, I don't ask them to send me stuff for free, you know, because they're already paying us money for advertising on the back of our magazine. Occasionally, I'll buy stuff from them, but I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what I can buy at the Nasties Day Out because some good ones on there, and I might get the Cliff. I haven't got a Cliff Twemlow box set, so I might do that. Might pick up a copy of that there because that's
worth it. I've looked through it. Need to sit down and give it a good watch. It's with my mate at the moment who's ripping it for us, so I can watch it easier.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to sitting down and watching that set, I must admit.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So what else is going on with Allan Bryce
in the real world?
Well, how's the Gentlemen of Horror and the Cads of Horror doing?
Well, let's see. Yeah, we've been out and about. We've been doing stuff. We do go out quite a lot. Actually, we're going to a barbecue with our worldwide weird mates this weekend, and I think it's Kim Newman's birthday party as well. And we often go to that. So that'll be on the Sunday rather than the Saturday. We got Gentleman Horror meeting next. I think we're one in about 14th or 13th. I'm not sure. I have to check. But that's when we go to the Goat Hair in Victoria, and we have a curry afterwards. So we'll be going to that, and that's always fun. I don't know when the Cads of Horror are meeting up next, but they usually do week quite regularly, so we'll be doing that. But again, the Cads of Horror will definitely be convening at Romford. That's for certain. We'll be doing that. And what's nice also, we tend to do with our guests. We tend to go out the night beforehand to have a curry night. So we'll probably have a curry night in Romford the night before the festival, and I'm sure Ian will be joining us for that, and a few others. And our pal Jeff, I don't know if Jeff, I think he's coming to the Nasties. I don't know what he's Jeff Elsom. You met?
Yeah,
brilliant.
Haven't met him, but yeah, I know who you mean.
He'll probably be at Romford. But Sing Lal, of course, is a gentleman of horror if ever there was one. He's quite excited about the Romford thing because Sing's got his video shop Tales of Terror.
Yes.
And he's got Video Dungeon is on display in the foyer at the Lumiere.
Excellent.
So he's up with Kevin's going to send him some grabs of the covers of the Nasties, so he can have a Nasties stall there as well, which would be good. So we're looking forward to that. And I think Sing's really been. He was the one I think he mentioned to me about this whole thing with Spencer in the first place, and we all agreed that Spencer needs to get the benefit of getting more people in because it's very, very tough, and he doesn't charge very much, to go to cinema, to go into his cinema. And in this event, I said we're charging £25 per ticket on this one, but that's not bad for you get a choice of 10 films, and you've got all these guests in there as well. And also it's Romford, so it's not that expensive on the bar or anything either, or for food. I don't know what Sir Spencer does for food, but there's loads of. It's in a shopping centre, and there's tons of places like Subway and all that sort of stuff around. But if people go down and get food and bring it back, if he hasn't, but then he's got concession stand and everything as well. But at the moment, I don't think he hasn't got Genesis have a kitchen where they do their own food. But obviously that pays off quite well.
I'm gutted that I can't make it to the Video Nasties one on the 30th of August.
Yeah.
At in Romford.
You've got problems, haven't you? Are you in hospital or something?
Yeah, hospital, getting an operation on the 27th. So I'll be in no fit state to go anywhere. Laser of a kidney stone, that'll be nice. But I will 100% be at Darkfest.
Well, that would be great. It'd be great to meet up in person.
Yes,
really good fun.
Definitely. There's quite a few folk who are going to be at Darkfest. I'm looking forward to meeting in person that I've interviewed.
There is. I mean, we the more years that we do these things, the more of our readers and people I get to know, and they're such a nice bunch, and spend time and chat with them because you've got all day. It's not a rush, Yanni always tells me off because she goes, "I'm stuck behind the counter and you're off talking to somebody." It happened at Shed of Hell because I was off talking to. Ian McCulloch for ages. We was like sharing jokes and things, and he kept saying, "Are you just going to sit and talk to Ian all day? Are you? I'm sitting here. I want to go and get a coffee. I want to go and do this. I want to go and do that." So I did block my coffee.
We do know you can talk.
I can. Allan. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I did. I certainly enjoyed Chinwag at these events, and it's nice. But of course, Yanni's a little bit left out because she doesn't know too much about horror.
No.
She's not a big horror fan. Well, she's a fan, actually. No, she is a fan. But she's just not that au fait with. She goes through, I don't care who stars in it, who directed it, who did the music, who did the photography or something. She goes, if it's a good film, I like it. And that's it. Which I suppose
fair enough.
That's the same with most people,
It is just us chosen few who like to deep dive into everything and know everything about them and
there's all that stuff. Also, it's like a lot of the people we hang around with the Cads, like Alan Hall. I do know Alan and Flo, but Alan Hall is a great guy. He's so into his sort of Italian horrors and all that, and he knows as much about Italian horror as any person that I know. And he's one of the Cads. He comes down to the Cads things, and we have. Yeah, this year we also have a Cads of Horror pool party here, which we're doing all the time. So that I almost forgot about that. That's our organisation thing, and that's when we have a bunch of Cads. And that's right, Jeff can't make it to our Cads pool party this year for some reason, and it won't be the same without him. But he's obviously got something else on. But we have a lot of the Cads who come, Alfred as well, who's a mate of ours who. In fact, I had a really good thing we did in London. This is more, that's not so much the dark side type of things. I have a lot of good writers on Infinity magazine who are very knowledgeable about sort of animation and stuff like that, stop motion monsters and Ray Harryhausen and stuff. And I had this guy called Greg Coulon, who's American, and he and his wife Chris came over here, and they said we've got to meet up because we're in London on a flying visit. And what we did was we met up in this pub called the Blue Posts in Soho. It's an old pub that's been knocking about for ages. So there was me and Yanni, there was Alpha as well, again. In massive. He works on restoring the Harryhausen stuff. There's John Walsh, lovely guy who writes books about Harryhausen, and actually John's writing a book about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is
nice,
amazing. Apparently, it's for Titan. It's going to be a really big book for horror fans, and that's coming out soon, maybe at the end of the year or something, maybe. And also there was Richard Hollis, who's an old pal of mine, used to work in the Forbidden Planet, and so we all met up for and also mustn't forget Clive Dawson, who writes a lot for us in Darkside. He's a screenwriter as well. He's also written episodes of The Bill and Holby City and things like that. But he's written films like, is it Last Days on Mars or something like that? He's written a lot of stuff. He's working on screenplay at the moment, but he writes for us mainly on Val Newton because he's an expert on Val Newton. He did this amazing book on I Walked with a Zombie, which came out last year, and it's coming out with a cheaper edition now. It's very, very, it's the last word on that entire film, which is a classic.
Yes.
And Mike Hankin, again, another guy who's Harryhausen expert. So we were in this this place, and the Blue Posts, and Al Friswell can do this thing. You might have seen this because he did a podcast with Danny Thompson from the Horrific days this year, and we were amazed.
Oh, no, I've not seen it. I've done a podcast with Danny, but no.
Well, he makes if you give him a little bit of blue tack, he can make a dinosaur behind his back, and it is. I mean, you could tell any dinosaur you care to mention, he'll make it without even looking at it. And then when he finished it, it's an amazing party piece. He did it with Danny on the Horrific podcast. But anyway, so I said to Al, got any blue tack today, Al? And he goes, no. And I said, well, you're here with a bunch of dinosaur people. Let's get some blue tack. So he went behind the bar, and the barmaid was saying to me, what's all this for? I said, my mate makes a dinosaur behind his back. She goes, can you make me one? I said, yeah, what do you want? I have a T-Rex. But anyway, but the dinosaur that attacks the pup, see, this is the thing. 100 years earlier, they made The Lost World, 1925.
Yes.
And there's a scene here where they bring the dinosaur back. Professor Challenger brings it back to London to exhibit it, and it escapes, goes on the rampage. What does it do? One of the places, it swims up the river, and then it comes out and it knocks over the Blue Posts pub, which is the same pub. You can see it's the same pub. Yeah. So what I did, I said to her, make the same dinosaur that attacks that, and if we can go outside, and Greg took a picture, and it looked like the really close up dinosaur attacking the pub, and Al did an even better version of it by making it. Oh no, actually Greg did a better version by making it blue, because it was tinted blue in the original thing, and it looks amazing. There's us in London in 100 years later recreating that scene. I was amazed. I thought this is brilliant, because it was one of my ideas to do it, but obviously I didn't take the photograph. And next thing we know, David Colton shared it with all the Monster Kid people on there in his forum, and I put it on Facebook, and people were going, "This is absolutely amazing," because it is recreated the exact same. You can see it's amazing. It's really good. I was, and after they were a bunch of great people, and it's like, I feel privileged to know some of these people because they are experts in their field, and they're people that I've read their stuff for ages, and it's always brilliant.
Yeah.
you know, and it's just lovely to know that. The other thing we do that is worth a mention, I've been doing, my daughter Amber did a piece on this place called the Nickel Cinema in Farringdon, and it's a place that shows really obscure cult films, and they have some amazing events on there. The guy who runs it, Dominic Hicks, he's a nice chap, and I took him down a copy of my Nasties book, and we sat and watched, Jenny and I and Amber sat and watched a double bill of Blue Sunshine and I Drink Your Blood.
Oh, nice.
So it was a nice double bill, bit of Lynn Lowry in the second one. And I left him a copy of my Nasties book there. But they are showing, they did a thing with Alan Jones recently where he was introducing Tenebrae.
Yeah.
And Alan Jones is going to do another one in about a couple of weeks' time to do about it's a disco, you know, the Music Machine, I think they're showing, and it's a disco now because Alan's got a disco book out which about his disco days, so he's going, and I think I might end up doing one there myself if I can think of something good to introduce, you know, that would be obscure enough. But they've only got about 35 seats there, so they're not going to make a fortune. They charge a tenner.
No.
But it's a shop as well, and they've got a bar underneath, so it's a nice little thing. I hope it does well.
Oh, excellent.
It's worth, you know, people watching this looking it up if they're in quite central to London. It's Clerkenwell, really. Pretty much where, funny enough, not that far from when we started the Darkside. We had our offices in Old Street back in the day, so that was, so we were just down the road from there now.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Well, I think we've got everything. So
Excellent.
Don't forget, folks, August 30th in Romford. What's the cinema called?
It's called the Lumiere Cinema.
The Lumiere Cinema in Romford.
In the
Video Nasties day.
It's in the Mercury Shopping Centre there.
There we go.
Go to our website to get tickets. It's certainly worth your support, and I think if you're a fan, but I mean, I'm delighted to say that I expect. Of course, I've got a lot of people coming from Hornchurch, Upminster, and places like that around the corner, Ilford or whatever. But I'm really quite encouraged by the fact that so many people have decided to travel quite a distance, you know, from Scotland and all that, you know. And also, another thing that's worth mentioning is that because look, the Fright Fest is on the 23rd of August. Now, normally Fright Fest is the last week in August, but in a way it is the last week in August because the bank holiday weekend, the final one where we're showing our event, doesn't stretch over far enough. Do you know what I mean? So it is really last week in August. So as Spencer was saying, it's good timing because the 23rd of August is Fright Fest weekend, and sometimes people stay on quite a long time for that. And if they stay on a few more days, they can come to our Fright Fest, you know. And then the following day, on the Sunday, Spencer's doing a Giallo Day as well. So anyone
very nice.
Over, and we're not anything to do with that. This is basically a Darkside event. I mean, Shed of Hell wasn't actually a Darkside event. We just supported that. But this is actually a Darkside event because we're selling tickets. And also, it's worth mentioning, I know, thank you for buying our book. The book, as you know, costs £25 if you buy it from us. But on the day we'll be flogging them at £20. Signed copies at £20 on the day, so they'll be a little bit cheaper.
There you go. Pick yourself up one of these on the day for 20 nicker.
Yeah, can't go wrong. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Paul. Anyway, and hope it all goes well with your hospital visit and everything.
Yes, finally get the kidney stone removed. I've only had it since January.
Oh yeah.
So it's been
be a relief anyway, won't it?
Yeah, complete relief. But no, thank you so much for being on the show as always, Alan. It's always a pleasure and an honour having you on the show. And I'll get this out ASAP.
Excellent. All right, and I'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yes, I'll be 100% at Darkfest this year.
Sounds great.
And if you hold on after the, I'll do the outro. I'll have a quick crack with you. So no, thank you for being here, Alan, and we'll speak again soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely.